Hey guys, CreamCrazy here. I know it's a day late, but these things are sent to try us. Because this is the 48th edition of Wrestling Rant. We're getting closer to the 50. I cannot believe I'm even... actually, to be honest, apparently, including parts, I've done 150 videos, which, to be honest, I never thought I'd ever do. So, I'm going to pat myself on the back. Nonetheless, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a video I've wanted to do for quite some time. It's something which I cannot believe, because this upcoming autumn and winter, I will have been a person watching wrestling, a fan of wrestling in terms of that, for 10 years. Which, to be perfectly honest, I can't believe. But I'm always wondering to myself, I was wondering earlier in the year, late last year, I was thinking to myself, why am I still a wrestling fan? After all that's happened, why am I still a wrestling fan? After witnessing so much, how am I still watching this product? Because a lot of today's fans are basically saying they don't want to watch the product anymore. And they're very negative. And I always wonder, I'm still here. Why is that? I'm hoping to hopefully this will shed some light onto why, and get me a better understanding, really, because I took me a while to make this top 10, these 10 reasons, because I really had to think. There's some little things, but I had to really dig in and find out what. So hopefully this should be as entertaining for you as it was for me thinking it up. Number 10, we're starting off with a pretty little one, I think. The live shows are as fun as hell and are still worth going to. Because if you are a true wrestling fan, you will go to a live show and you will enjoy it. Without the commentary, without all the assisted extras at home, you will get absorbed in by the atmosphere. Be in a place full of people who are just like you, love the product enough, and basically you will get completely lost in it. And you will just love every second. Now, if you're a true wrestling fan, that is you. And I feel some people, if you watch it from a TV perspective and you don't go to a live show, you don't really appreciate wrestling in such a big extent. I mean, okay, if you are in a part of a country which doesn't have any, that sucks, but I can say this right now. Go to a live show, a TV taping, an indie show, a pay-per-view. I don't really care what. It is a great experience. I mean, the one thing I will say is, for me, I love the live shows. They're fun as fuck. I'm there going completely mental, because at home I feel more reserved. I'm still critically analysing everything I'm watching there live, but I get lost in it. I don't really seem to give a shit. And the fact is, when I went to the Raw SmackDown tapings last year, I was going crazy. And there were these people, the people around me were just sitting there not really interested. And I thought, wow, these people, they're fans? They weren't really as into it as I was, and I wasn't even front row. So, thing is, if you have the passion for loving the industry, go watch a live show, because they are worth it. Plus, you can get good merch. Now, I wouldn't buy WWE merch most other times of the year, but Sin Cara t-shirt, bloody good example of well-made and really good design merch. I still need to get that CM Punk Best in the World t-shirt. I need that t-shirt. That's the one thing that's eating away at me. I need that shirt. But nonetheless, I feel that live shows are fun, and there's this thing that Colt Cabana is going to be part of in London next month called Progress Wrestling. And I feel I might actually buy a ticket and go to that thing, because it's in London. I like London. It's in the Relentless Garage, which is a good gigging venue. I thought, this would be fun. Really good, wouldn't it? I feel that as long as I find live shows entertaining, it's going to keep me going, because at home you can't really, like I said, you can't really let your opinion out. And that's, to me, you know, it's not really fun when you're just cooped up in your house trying to vent yourself. Well, fuck it, I'm in a house right now venting my opinion on wrestling, but it feels when you're there you can just let go, and it's great to do. Number 9, the video games, which are what got me into wrestling in the first place, are still, for the most part, worth playing, and these are only the WWE ones, because I've seen TNA's attempt, and it isn't very good. The Legends of Wrestling series, while it had a fucking epic roster, was extremely flawed on gameplay. Now, the one thing I will say is that I got into wrestling because all the talk of The Rock was going around in 2000, in the early 2000s, and I was really inquisitive to hear what The Rock was, and I also was showing a picture of him. I didn't know what he sounded like, what he did. I just knew about The Rock. And in HMV one day, I was looking around the games section with the GameCube games, and I looked and found this game called WrestleMania X8, and I found there's The Rock on it. I thought, ooh, this is what The Rock's part of, I want this. And it's the thing that started me off, and it's the fact that even when the product can get as stale as hell, the video game's always a good creative outlet for me. I always feel creating my own storylines and seeing what, from a creative standpoint, what you can do with your mind. And it really helps, because you can basically put anyone in any pairing in and then figure out a storyline from your own head. And it's fun. It's great. And the fact is, WWE 12's roster made me have so much fun with it. I'm at the moment sticking a load of great things with Mick Foley at the minute. It's great because even when the product goes, like I said, it goes to its worst, you still have great things. I know people have been slating WWE 12 for glitches and gameplay and all that problems and all that crap. But I still go back to the games. Even when I wasn't watching wrestling much, in 2007, 2008, I still bought SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, despite the fact the game sucked. I bought it because I still like playing them. I mean, they're better on the Xbox than they are on the PlayStations, because you at least get a sense of how to control the fucking thing. But, in my opinion, the games are worth it. Sure, they may not be the pinnacle like Here Comes the Pain was, that even 6-7 years after I bought it, I still want to play it. The fact is, I could actually just give up wrestling entirely. I could keep up with it thanks to the games and a mixture of that and the internet. Because the games, to me, are one of the high points of the year. I always get excited about the video games, and I enjoy playing them, because I don't buy many video games. Wrestling games, fun. People may disagree with me, but they are something special to me. Wrestling video games are the one thing I can say helped me fall in love with this product more, because when I saw it in real life, realizing that this game was not complete fiction, I definitely realized it was a good thing. Number 8. I now have YouTube commitments that reinforce my love for wrestling further, because if you're like me, you've grown up with people who aren't really big wrestling fans. You feel, unlike everything else, you're a loner in a social circle where you can talk about television, you can talk about mainstream sport like football, like rugby, like cricket. You can talk about food and talk about places you've been, but you cannot really talk about wrestling amongst people, because people have that kind of viewpoint. And I feel I've only had 1 or 2 friends when I was in my prep school between the ages of 11 and 14 who were really into the product. And they share their interest with me about the matches, the wrestlers. I actually was the one who stayed up late watching the pay-per-views to then give my friends the results the next day. So I feel that after that while I lost that, and it's the point where I didn't have much of a place to go for wrestling, fan banter and everything like that. I wanted to be able to feel part of something, and on the internet, here on YouTube, I have an outlet, because for years I was mulling over my own opinions. Not many people would really listen, so now I'm here doing that. I'm here saying to the world, I'm a wrestling fan, and no one can ever tell me I'm an idiot for not. I mean, to be honest, people I know who aren't wrestling fans even watch this because they like me talking, which is fantastic. And the fact is, I managed to reignite one of my friends' loves for wrestling thanks to the videos. So that's good in itself. I mean, the guy still watches SmackDown when there's nothing on, and it's good for him. He at least keeps up with the story, and it's great. I mean, I love doing this. It's something that has made my love for wrestling even stronger than it ever has before. And that I have to be immensely grateful for. Because, I mean, I would, if I had the ability, I would have done this in around 2006 instead of starting in 2010. You know, I would have done this ages before, but it didn't happen because I didn't have the right equipment. My laptop didn't have a built-in webcam. I didn't, for the most part, have a very strong internet connection. Plus I didn't understand how YouTube worked. So it took a while, but I'm now here doing what I want to do at the minute, and that's great. And that's just something that I can use. I mean, I'm not obviously the most negative opinion person in the world. I do what I can to give my viewpoint. And I'm happy that there are people out there, you guys, subscribers, fantastic people, who share my opinion or like what I say. So you guys make this all possible. Thank you. Number 7. And I think this is more of an outside fan perspective for me. Because I don't let the Benoit murder-suicide or any aspect of the dirty side of wrestling ruin my perception of the overall product. Because I know there are some people out there who don't view wrestling in the biggest light, and even people who watch it do also feel it is not the best thing in the world. I mean, sure, it might be quite violent. It might be full of some people who do take steroids, and it's quite a very corrupted business on the inside. But sometimes I really don't care about all that because I'm watching a product that keeps me fixated, and it's something that is legitimately entertaining. I mean, to be honest, there are some people out there I know who really don't like wrestling. They have my dad's one of them. I want to keep myself quiet because he's in the house, but he's kind of saying, oh yeah, that wrestling is a dirty, awful business. I was watching WrestleMania X7 this year with the blood streaming down Austin and Rock's face, and my dad was going, oh, it's awful, turn it off. And it's something that I've had to deal with. And people outside wrestling don't understand really why I love it so much. And people egg me and say, oh, you like wrestling, that's men in tight pants or something, and they keep going at me, and they're saying how dirty the business with steroids, and it's not real, all the perceptions. It's not the dirty side, but you know what I mean, the perception of the sport to the outside, and me, I've managed to, for the most part, completely distance that, and get myself to like a bubble, you know, and I've made it where I don't get pissed off by other people. If they're talking about the product, I'm fine with it, they've got their opinion. When it comes to other people telling me I'm into something that they don't give a shit about, that's their opinion. They're not involved in it. And the Benoit murder-suicide thing, it stopped people from watching wrestling. Some people have said they would never watch wrestling again. I went through a fucking depression because of that. So I went through a small grieving process because it was the watershed moment that broke kayfabe for me. The fact is, to me, it is kind of real that I can see through it. I'm not too fussed. The perception of the product in general has not really changed much, but I feel that I'm more in tune with it than I ever used to be. And it's good. I mean, I know that people sometimes would say to me that wrestling is a very dirty thing, and it's not entertainment, and it's not sport either. But I don't care. I like it, and that's how it's going to go. Number 6. This one, I'm afraid, is having to be directed at the Attitude Era fanboys that I continuously criticise. I don't retain memories of the past too vividly to ruin my enjoyment of the current product. Now, who am I talking to? I bet some people watching this right now, and I'm pointing at you, who are saying, the past is the best thing in the world. The Attitude Era was awesome, and today's product is complete shit. PG's awful. You know what? You know all this stuff that I hear every single day. Facebook comment feeds, Twitter feeds, websites. I hear the lot, and it pisses me off. I mean, I'll show you something, right? Over here, guys, if you can see there, those 2 giant piles are my wrestling DVDs, okay? I can watch them and go, decent shows, great shows, shit shows in some cases. I can be as critical as I want to be about them, and I can be as nostalgic as I can be about some others, okay? I like looking back on the past and going, good times. But that doesn't make me criticize every aspect the product has today. That's uncalled for. Because if you're a proper fan, you will not give a shit. You will enjoy what you can find from a product, and then you will basically just go along. If you like a band enough, you will listen to something, and you may not like all of it, but you at least like some. Every band goes through that certain situation. I mean, people didn't like it when Rush went through their synth period in the 80s, with all the keyboards and the electronic drum kits and the absence of guitar-led tracks. People didn't like it. People didn't like that Minutes to Midnight by Linkin Park was different because it wasn't rap metal, new metal, much like Meteora and Hybrid Theory were, but people still hooked onto it, including myself. Okay? Ipswich Town fans may say that our team is complete bullshit now and our club isn't very good, comparison to the years when we won the FA Cup and won the UEFA Cup, because we believe success is automatic and we should deserve it. The fact is, things change. You can hold on to the past as much as you bloody well want, but it is not going to change the fact that in the end of it, you are still a fan. And if you are stuck in the past all the time and you can't look forward to now, you are not a proper fan. Because that means I see people who just go around saying Attitude Era is awesome, modern day wrestling's awful, but you haven't looked into it and understood the differences, or in the most perspective, found something you enjoy. And that's a real problem, because the simple fact is, when you look at the Royal Rumble 2012 feedback, it was so negative, and I think, why are you people still watching? Because if you really think it's that bad, don't watch. Because I like aspects of the current product. I don't look back on the past and say it's the best thing since sliced bread. Because you can't compare. They're completely different. Because something is different does not mean you can continuously criticize. Alright? I remember 2002, 2003, and aspects of 2004 quite vividly because that was when I first got into it. Does that shroud over my critique of the modern day product? No, because I'm watching it and giving a blunt assessment. I should tie up the loose ends with that one. Number 5. Other TV shows haven't done enough to keep wrestling out of my life. And it's true, because apart from some animated cartoons, like cartoon comedy shows like South Park, Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show, The Simpsons, Futurama, that's about it. And shows like Top Gear, Mock the Week, Have I Got News for You? Basically comedy shows and the most set, really. Many TV shows, I feel, aren't very good, and most of them have a lot of gimmicks attached to them, like vampires or zombies, or are too overly melodramatic, much like how basically soaps are. I'm not a fan of those because it's just too unrealistic. And I feel, for the most part, I can watch the news, but I can't watch much else. And that's the thing. Usually you'd find other TV programs to avoid your attention away from wrestling if you're not too much of a fan or don't keep up with it. But I feel with modern day TV, it's just where the quality of programming is, to be honest, not very good. I've seen some good programs on, but I haven't really been in the mood to say, okay, I'll sit down and watch it. I mean, sure, there are some programs like MasterChef I will take my time for. And watching some sport and some football, I wouldn't mind that. But mostly I'm just at the time watching music channels while going on the internet, or watching repeats of Top Gear and Mock the Week on Dave, or watching Cops Uncut and FBI Files on Quest, or Nothing to Declare on Pick TV. I am not interested. Wrestling, even through its bad times, I can stick with it if it's keeping me interested, because it gives more twists and turns than a modern day TV show. To be honest, I don't understand. I can watch some modern TV programs. I don't see the appeal. For people in this country especially, programs like The In-Betweeners, The Only Way Is Essex, shows like that, I just watch them. I don't really get it. I don't understand what is so good. Because I'm probably overanalyzing them. I'm being too critical, probably. But I look at them and think they're completely worthless. You know? I don't see modern TV advancing in a good way because they try and appeal to the lowest common denominator. And obviously, in wrestling, they try to not to. At least in WWE, they don't, because they feel it's a common stereotype of wrestling fans, and they want to get away from that. And that's something which I believe is great, because you're not being spoon-fed crap all the time that modern TV shows can sometimes fill. I mean, sure, there are some TV shows out there that are good TV shows. Maybe I haven't found them. Fuck it. I know this is a wrestling video, but if you please, I like some comedy, some drama that's not too intense. If you think there's a program that I might like out there, there is a comment section down here. Would you mind putting them in there? Because that would be much appreciated. I want to find some decent TV. I can't even see any. So please, give me something decent. Because I know I wouldn't normally campaign for it, but if TV wants to try and tell me that I should invest more time in it, then please, I need a program that can try, because there aren't many, honestly. And this is one reason why I'm a computer person. I like using a computer, go on the internet and do stuff like that. I have an Xbox over there or upstairs, depending on which room I have it in at the time. I will use those instead of watching TV because I am not interested. Simple. Number 4, it still entertains me. But that should be the simplest, lowest common denominator. It still is an entertaining product for me. And a lot of you right now are saying, "Pah! This isn't entertaining, this is crap." You're not true wrestling fans. Because if you like the product enough, you will find it entertaining. You will find aspects of it entertaining. I mean, sure, not all of it is to my liking, but I will watch it because I have invested the time. I'm a fan for a reason. You invest time in something because it entertains you. Formula 1, okay? People say, oh, it's boring, it's awful, I'm not going to watch F1 anymore because it's just nothing to it now. There's no crashes, there's no all crazy overtaking everywhere. That's life. F1 and other things evolve with the time, and you still have to keep up with it. If you like it enough, you'll be entertained by it, come hook or by fucking crook. I know this year F1 was not the most entertaining on record. Look at the European Grand Prix and you'll see exactly why. But even with the Funkasaurus debuting here in WWE, with Michael Cole's rap battle with JR and some really not very well worked matches, I still love it. I still am entertained by the matches, the promos, the vignettes. It still keeps me on edge. And not a lot of TV programs can actually tell me that they've done that. Not a lot. Because most TV programs I watch are not ones that are a series, which explains why I probably have a lot more of a tolerance towards wrestling than I will do much other things. And if it doesn't entertain you, sieve through it and find something that does. And if you're not, then even if you do that and nothing comes up, you're just a cynical arsehole. You haven't got any appetite to find something positive. And that goes on to my next point. Number 3, I can still focus on the product's positives, even after seeing some of its most woeful lows. Now, I started watching when Katie Vick was in full swing. So that shows I started off with complete bullshit, but I've gone through some awful things in professional wrestling. I've seen some really, really, really shit stuff. But I want to look at the positives. Every time I watch a pay-per-view, I look at the positives before focusing on the negatives, you know? I don't like being negative about this product. I can be as negative about the fans as much as I want to because I actually have a point. But with the product, I try and remain as impartial and as positive as I possibly can. It's hard, but it's possible, you know? And I feel the product may not be its best at the moment. Daniel Bryan isn't doing very well in terms of building himself as an intelligent heel. He's still being a coward, and that isn't very nice. I still think he deserves to be booked better. But is that going to stop me enjoying the fact he's world champion? Which is something I wanted for a start. And for the best part, he's in the main event on SmackDown. That's a positive in itself, and he's actually going toe-to-toe with Big Show, making himself look a little bit weak, but in my opinion, he still has the ability to basically he still looks strong in my eyes, because I know he can go out there and whoop your ass, which is exactly what other people don't think is a good thing. And that's definitely important. I mean, I look at John Cena-Kane rivalry. I love that Cena is being made to look quite weak. I know even after Cena beat the shit out of Kane last week on Raw, we think that's going to make Kane look awful, and it's just pointless to make Cena look strong again. But there is that seedling of doubt, and these are me looking at the positives in spite of the negatives. And I have stressed this so many times while watching wrestling or doing these videos. I have stressed that people do not see the positives. And if you don't, again, you shouldn't be watching if you don't find something entertaining. If you don't find a positive, then what the hell are you doing? Seriously, what the hell? It's me going out there, I'm saying it, because I mean, you out there, whoever you are, you could take this video to be something as a way of trying to say to other people, you're still wrestling, you're still a wrestling fan. Are you should you really still be one? Is what I'm trying to make, not just me. I've evaluated why I'm still a wrestling fan and explaining why. I'm trying to get you guys to really think, do I really invest myself in the product enough? Do I really just am a negative person and spew at it all the time? Do I not enjoy the product anymore? I'm trying to make you guys understand. Why are you still a wrestling fan? Just trying to make you understand. It's important, you know? Because with all the negativity around, I want to find a reason for you guys to say I am a wrestling fan. It's because of this, you know? That's what I'm doing this for. And I feel that if people are so negative all the time, it makes them out to not even be fans. And that's very disappointing, because I see the same with Ipswich fans. They are some of the most negative people I've ever seen. Fuck it. I've got a link to the Ipswich Town fanzine, TWTD, in the description, okay? Click on the news story. There's going to be a news story about the pricing for the rearranged Middlesbrough game, right? You will see in that some quite negative stuff from people who are supposedly loyal fans. Go check that out, because it is ridiculous. It's so similar to professional wrestling that I literally want to stab something. It's that bloody similar, because it's ridiculous that it's a sport, it's entertainment, either or, it's the same bloody thing. And both do my head in. Number 2. Sorry, I had to take a deep breath. Oh, and a cough. Basically, I cannot believe I've just vented all that. It's deep-seated stuff. Number 2. Now, I had a debate with myself about whether to put this at number 1 and number 2. And I decided to put this one at number 2 because it is big for me. The amount of knowledge I have gained from the product is not dispensable. Quite simple. I have learnt so much from professional wrestling. Just in terms of everything I see. Whether it be moves, the glossary of what everything is called in professional wrestling, the style of fans, everything I'm watching. And it's all the fact that I've analysed the business so much that I feel I'm quite good. I'm not the best at it. I know there are some guys who are way more dedicated, like Aaron Rift of NoDQ.com. That guy is, to be honest, making a website and still venting his opinions on YouTube. That is he's quite dedicated. And I feel that the knowledge I've gained in terms of wrestling terms, wrestling maneuvers, knowing the insides of the product from an outsider looking in, that kind of thing, And going online and being part of it, the knowledge of the industry I've had has grown from a naivety into something, not an expertise, but something that I can use to better my stance online. Because some people I see online seem like they're just watching it like I was, being quite naive, looking at things in a not very good way, or in some cases looking at it too realistically, or trying to say, or looking at it with too much of a blunt fixation on what they want, while I'm looking at it in a way where I can feel that I'm telling the right things. I'm saying my opinion, but I'm doing it in a way which means I'm pretty knowledgeable about this, and I pride myself on doing that. That's why I find it annoying when I do videos and I don't feel I get the most that I can out of a subject, because I want to show that I'm dedicated to doing these. And if I don't, and that knowledge, if I had to, if I quit wrestling, quit watching it, I couldn't get rid of all this. I couldn't get rid of all the moves and the knowledge of everything I've gained. I couldn't get rid of it, because that's part of the passion. You like something enough, you will know about it. And I don't think at this point, nearly 10 years on, I can give it up. Because the love for wrestling is going to be there, but I can't get rid of the knowledge. I can't get rid of the knowledge. It's there, it's going to stick in my brain until the day I either have dementia or basically die. It's going to be there. Because I hope I am a wrestling fan as long as I can be. And if the knowledge is there, which will help me understand the product better, why not? You know? Why not? Why is that an issue if I've got the knowledge in my head and I'm willing to use it? Seriously. I mean, I'm hoping with my radio production degree, hopefully, when I go to uni later in the year, hopefully, I possibly could think I may, if there's a chance, become part of a wrestling-related radio program or station dedicated to doing that kind of stuff. Maybe that could be something that I could do in the future. But I believe with the knowledge I have learnt from an outsider looking in, it's too important to get rid of, because it's a signature part of it. It's a signature part of the experience of being a wrestling fan, knowing it. And it makes me a lot better knowing it as well, because it just makes me feel better than some people, but just generally part of everything in the wide scope of this world of wrestling that we are stuck in. And finally, my number one. And I actually am happy I've stuck this at number one, because it's important. Because basically, it's the reason I'm still wrestling now, because it's become such a big part of my life to the point where I cannot turn my back on it. Because that is something vital. Because like I've always said, telling people, I've said it actually millions of times during this video, why don't you give up wrestling if you're not as into it? Because when you do, you long for it. When I had my hiatus with the Benoit tragedy, I still wanted to know what was going on. I still wanted to watch. Even though I was a bit conflicted, I still did. In very small doses. And I have, seriously, I think, it's many things, it's been part of my life for nearly 10 years. As many things that have gone and basically fallen on the wayside, it's one thing that has always stuck. And even when I'm not in the best of moods to really take interest, it is always there. The internet, it's always there for me when I need it. When it's on TV, I will say, okay, I've got nothing else to watch, because I actually don't. I will watch it because I have immersed myself in it. The fact is, during the summer of 2004, I read up the entire history of companies, watched matches. I wanted to be part of it. And I feel that it's part of my life now where I really can't get rid of it. It's the fact that even if the product gets quite bad, I will still watch it. Unlike some. And I love wrestling. I absolutely love it, because it's something that, it's part of me. I I honestly feel it's part of me and who I am now. Much like how music is. Much like how football kind of is. Much like how my love for, in terms of radio and the music combined into it, how it is. And it's one of my personality things you can always define me by. A music fan who loves wrestling. On my personal statement for uni, I included this wrestling YouTube series on my personal statement to show that I've worked with social media technologies to help myself with something I love like this. Because I have probably dedicated more of my time into professional wrestling than I really should have. But to me, it's all been worth it. I can't. Every time I say to myself, I really don't want to watch it, I still keep up. Even when I say I don't want to watch Raw in the week, or I don't want to watch SmackDown, I still will keep up with what's going on. I watch on clips on YouTube when I really only want to see it in bite-sized chunks. I feel that I can't wave it adieu. I can't just pack a bag on a stick and let it go on the road to nowhere, because it is part of me. And no matter what my dad says in saying to me that, Fred, you're gonna grow out of it at some point, I don't think I will, because wrestling is such an important thing to me that when television mostly wasn't there for me, and when I haven't had the best social life in the world, the wrestling has always been there, and it's something that I absolutely adore, and I can't get rid of it. It's just that I absolutely love it, that to the point where if I wanted to say bye to wrestling, I don't think I could. And a lot of you probably would feel the same, even if the negatives of the product are there. You probably say the same. You're probably saying, I want to, with it being so bad, I want to let it go, but you can't. You look back at all the memories in your DVD collection. You look back at all the times you've had, and you realise how happy it actually made you, and you really feel that you can't really let it go. And that's the thing. You get bitten by the bug. You get bitten by the bug, much like you get bitten by something if you love it enough. And I don't know really how to explain it. It's one of the best things that has ever come into my life. And people may say otherwise to me, that it's a waste of time. It's not something worth investing in. But based on what I've seen and cheered at, yelled and screamed at, and poured so much of my brain and my knowledge and emotion into, I cannot and will never turn my back on professional wrestling. Even if I do only watch one promotion, and I'm quite well noted of doing that, and I'm happy to do it, but I will never turn my back on professional wrestling at all. And that is something that I am going to, hand on heart, because I hope that I'm going to be a pro wrestling fan all my life, and I don't care what people say. It's gonna happen, and I hope to God it does, because this is it. This is exactly what I love doing. I like spending my evenings watching wrestling. I like staying up late for the dedication for it. I love talking to people out there about it. I absolutely love it. I honestly, this is the passion, people. This is the fact that I've poured 10 years of my life into. I can't just say bye. It's just, I've probably gone a bit over the top here, and I'm reduced to just tearing a little bit here, because I'm just so passionate about this that, to be honest, I think you will, if you have negativities about this product, you're not going to feel the same, but this should be a wake-up call. You love it enough, show it. don't get clouded by the bug of negativity and dwelling on things before. You have to understand this is the type of passion people like me have, and we've all got it in us. You've just got to embrace the product and love it enough. And guys, I'm going to end it there because I think I've gone a little bit too long, and I'm a bit out of breath and my energy's a bit sapped. But I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have giving it to you. And remember, you want to comment on anything I've said, post it down there. And also remember, guys, to add me on Facebook, search CreamCrazyWR on Skype for some good chatter, and ask me Q&A questions via the 2 previous aforementioned things of Skype and Facebook, as well as here on YouTube. Just give me some Q&A questions. You've got until the 24th of February to do that, and then you've got basically the video will be on the 26th. You haven't got very long, so please get those to me. I've got a lot of questions so far. I'm looking forward to answering those. Hope you guys will be there for that. I'll be back for In the News on Wednesday, and I will be back, of course, on Saturday for the Elimination Chamber predictions. So this should be an interesting week. Guys, thank you. I've been Cream Crazy. You have been people watching. This has been my 10 reasons why I'm still a wrestling fan video, and let's hope we've all learnt something from this. We can look at ourselves all, hopefully, as wrestling fans after this, hopefully with a better light. Thank you, guys. I'll see you on Wednesday. Cheers.